Like this video and subscribe or Shrek will visit you tonight. The size of a husky compared to wolf. This is what an axolotl looks like if it morphs. We call him Gollum. A 5-hour, 47 miles bus journey around Hong Kong for people to sleep on. The tour is designed for people who can't sleep at night but fall asleep easily on the bus to and from work. Costs $13 to $51 depending on whether they choose the upper or lower deck. The largest hotel in the world, with a staggering 10,000 rooms, is currently under construction in Saudi Arabia. Here are the rivers in Africa. All of the garbage on Everest to go with the new 360 video. A powerful photograph of a one-legged Syrian father holding his son born without lower or upper limbs has been recognized as the SINA International Photo Awards (SIPA) 2021 Photo of the Year. Turkish photographer Mehmet Aslan was recognized as the overall winner with his photo Hardship of Life. Hala Fruit, the fruit that looks like an exploding planet. The flame lily, national flower of Zimbabwe. An Anzio 20mm rifle. They are legal to own in the US. This is a collection of uranium glassware, lit up by black lights. One of the clearest pictures ever taken on the surface of Venus. Venera 13 succumbed to the harsh environment after only 127 minutes. Whitney Wolverine, an atomic age-influenced .22 pistol from the 1950s. Cue to the summit of Everest. The peregrine falcon is renowned for its speed, reaching over 320 km/h, 200 miles per hour, during a dive. This would theoretically burst its lungs, but tubercles in its nose direct show waves away, a design used in high-speed jet engines. Binti Jua, the gorilla who saved a 3-year-old boy that climbed the wall around her zoo enclosure and fell 18 feet onto concrete below. Binti picked up the child and carried him 59 feet to an access entrance so that personnel could retrieve him. This incident happened in 1996. The youth have been cleaning the Mithi River, Mumbai, India, for over a year now. Here is a then versus now. A rare sighting of 5 adult male lions drinking together. They were brothers and called them a Pogo Coalition. A photo of Pluto, 24 years apart, 1994 to 2018. Custom made urn that casts the shadow of the deceased. The original starting line at the stadium in Olympia, Greece. What rain looks like from a plane. Photo of an apple orchard in Ireland after a storm. Non-identical twins. Volcanic activity in Japan is lifting abandoned ships from World War II out of the ocean. I thought this was made of fabric, but it's actually an excavation in Turkey and it's a stone mosaic that's hundreds of years old. A colony of goose barnacles growing under a safety helmet. Largest crocodile recorded in Australia. MLB pitcher Tyler Rodgers throwing a 73 mph slider. Just before surface tension is broken. An NBA player and his entire team has been erased from the internet in China because he voiced his opinion on China's oppression of Tibet. Enes Kanter of the Boston Celtics also has a warrant for his arrest from Erdogan's Turkey for criticizing his authoritarian policies. Schizophrenia art progression of Louis Wayne. Great uncle bought this DeLorean in the 80s, just sitting in his garage now. This rock, sod light, glows when you put UV light on it. The interior of a Romani, gypsy-owned, horse-drawn caravan, built in the late 1800s. Alpine Refuge, located at 2,760 meters, Monte Cristallo, Italy. The A10, 30mm round, armor-piercing incendiary variants use depleted uranium as a penetrator material. An aerial photo from 1967 shows plumes of industrial waste flowing in the Cuyahoga River and emptying into Lake Erie, Cleveland, Ohio. A doctor made a 3D print from ultrasound result for a blind mother. Someone in Michigan found a rolled artillery shell full of old money. Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, because of its shape, is an abandoned island built by Mitsubishi Corporation. Its sole purpose was to house 5,000 residents there to work in its coal mine for 100 years. Television shopping in 1974. Space Shuttle's toilet. Tigers have white spots on the backs of their ears that function as false eyes to animals trying to sneak up on them. I shot the full moon through my telescope with a DSLR and combined over 275 shots to make this composite mineral moon image. This is what the most populated city in the world looks like from the window of an airplane, Tokyo, Japan. This photo from 1974 captures the very first reactions of Harold Whittles, a boy born deaf who's experiencing the sensations of sound for the very first time. Deafness was never the same again. In Seoul, South Korea, some crossings have signal lights on the ground for pedestrians that stare at their phones while crossing. An on-alert system also sends notification to walkers that are about to step into traffic. Estelle, Sweden. The thinner tree was cut years ago, and the big one has been holding and feeding it since then. Today I learned orange/red flames from a gas range means carbon monoxide is being released into the air. Magnificent storm clouds. In Kyoto, Japan, there are 5 temples that have blood-stained ceilings. They use the floorboards from a castle where warriors killed themselves after holding off against an army for 11 days. You can still see footprints and outlines to this day. Photo of Billy the Kid playing cards with his gang. Just the second known picture of the notorious gunman is set to fetch $1 million at auction after family of fellow outlaw Billy Wilson decided to sell it. $40,000 shipping container home. A fire escape of the 38-story Copan residential building Sao in Paulo, Brazil. What Bible looks like in Braille. Female LAPD trainees in 1948 practicing firing their newly issued revolvers. This 1600s Bible had a gun built into it and could be fired while the book was closed by pulling the silk ribbon. It belonged to Francesco Morosini, a Venetian leader dressed always in red from top to toe and never went into action without his cat beside him. Envisioning smartwatches in 1981. Byte. The Small Systems Journal. The Hoover Dam under construction in 1934. Russian APS underwater assault rifle fires a 120mm, 4.75 inches long 5.66mm caliber specially designed steel bolt from a smoothbore barrel. The magazine holds 26 rounds. Has a longer range and more penetrating power than spear guns. Although it can be used on land, it is not as accurate. Telephone tower in Stockholm, Sweden. Before they figured out bundling lines into cables. There are 5,000 lines in this tower, 1890. This is how urged the C5 galaxy is. Alligators survive in frozen waters by sticking their nose above the ice and entering a state of brumation. Regrowth. The same injured whale photographed 35 years apart, both photos taken off the coast of Mexico. 1985. Merit. 2020. Los Cabos. Extremely detailed photo of the Chrysler Building in New York. Located in Air Massif of Niger are two of largest animal rock petroglyphs in the world, known as Dabous Giraffes, dated 8000 BC. This area of Niger has over 900 similar carvings of animals and humans. 12,000 years ago, Neolithic subpluvial when Sahara was a much wetter savanna. The Murchison meteorite, one of the oldest rocks in existence. It is approximately 4,600,000,000 years old and likely existed before the Earth itself had completely formed. An antique bookstore in Porto, Portugal. The Access Point Nemo, the spot farthest away from any land in the world. You are closer to astronauts aboard the International Space Station, approximate 400 kilometers, than humanity, approximate 2,700 kilometers away. Hyperspeed, no special effects, not much editing. Just zoomed in during the long exposure. Imperial Passport of Kublai Khan. I'm the emissary of the Khan. If you defy me, you die. 1240 AD. This is a cross-section of grass under a microscope. It looks like it has smiley faces. This Venom Jack-o'-lantern. A subway entrance/exit in Tokyo. Italian primary school teacher Marcella Pace captured 48 different colors of the moon and the sun over the course of 10 years. At a gestation tropical garden, Madrid, Spain. The garden fills an abandoned section of the building that was once the old Atacha train station before the transportation hub was expanded to include its high-speed train links. The sprawling garden contains 7,000 plants from more than 260 species. Extreme social inequality in Mexico City. Portable telephone van in Toronto, 1983. Starling stealing coins from a car wash change machine. Owner thought employees were stealing from him. It was later discovered that starlings were the culprits. They would work in teams, where one bad would work the change loose and another would fly off with them. Claims of $4,000 are embellished. A marker to be placed at the waste isolation pilot plant in New Mexico upon its closure in 2030. Waste isolation pilot plant is an underground nuclear waste repository designed to contain nuclear waste for the next 10,000 years. Danger. Poisonous radioactive waste here, do not dig or drill. Holy Grail giant owl that hasn't been seen in 150 years is finally spotted in a rainforest in Ghana, raising hopes for the survival of the vulnerable species. The last confirmed sighting of the Shelley's eagle owl was back in the 1870s. It is distinguished by its large size, black eyes, yellow beak and barred patterning. Only one other certain photo of the owl exists, taken of one in captivity in 1975. It surprised me to see that many people didn't know that there is 24-hour daylight in northern countries like Iceland in the summer. Without the sun going down, you are less prone to get tired, and time goes by faster. This pic was at 3 AM. From 1760 to 1783, pioneering midwife Angelique de Caudray taught midwifery to about 4,000 rural French women to reduce infant mortality. She also invented the first life-size obstetrical mannequin, called the Machine. From Archaeology News, Art and Ancient Wonders on FB. Most multifunctional Swiss knife in the world. Sculpture made from scrap metal. This wave installed in London is made entirely of plastic waste recovered from beaches. It used over 10,000 individual pieces and represents the amount of marine plastic pollution found on the beach every 2 miles in the UK. Taking the lives of 28 adults and 116 children. Today marks the anniversary of the Aberfan disaster. The catastrophic collapse of a coal mine spoil tip on the 21st of October 1966. The tip had been created on a mountain slope above the Welsh village of Aberfan, near Merthyr Tydfil. Quokka or happiest animal is a small member of kangaroo family. Its facial structure makes it look smiling all the time. Sadly, it's invulnerable list in Conservation Book of International Union for Conservation of Nature, found only in tiny western islands of Australia. The world's oldest living crocodile is Henry the Nile Crocodile. Earned a reputation as a man-eater in Botswana before being captured by an elephant hunter named Sir Henry in 1903. He now resides at Croc World Conservation Center in South Africa and is thought to be at least 117 years old. Notorious drug lord Pablo Escobar's coquine hippos are being sterilized by Colombian wildlife officials because the population is out of control. 4 of these exotic pets escaped in 1993, and 80 now live in the wild near Escobar's Hacienda Napoles in Doradville, Colombia. This floor art. When a US nuclear attack submarine is scrapped, the entire reactor compartment is cut out, capped on each end, to form a sealed container, and barged 700 miles from Seattle to the Hanford nuclear site, where it is placed in a disposal pit with about 130 other reactors for permanent storage. Queen Elizabeth was once a mechanic. This photo shows her changing a wheel back in 1945. During wartime, the then princess joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service where she helped with the war effort, after learning how to change wheels, rebuild and repair engines and much more besides. Forbidden City, China. The palace complex, consisting of 9,999 rooms, is surrounded by walls 8 meters high and a moat 52 meters wide. The way of this leaf collects water after a rainy morning. This airplane in the middle of the woods. Head of the Statue of Liberty, before it turned green due to oxidization. Circa 1880s. The sun illuminated King Ramses II's face in Aswan's Abu Simbel Temple on Tuesday, a phenomenon that occurs twice a year, marking key dates in the pharaoh's life. The first alignment took place this year on February 22nd, marking his coronation, and the second on October 22nd, marking his birthday. Muhammad Ali at 12 years old, when he first took up boxing. Still known as Cassius Clay, he was introduced to boxing by policemen and boxing trainer Joe Martin in 1954. SO Hibernia tanker under construction, Wallsend UK 1970. Amethyst mushrooms, Eleomyxus erythra, first identified in 1942. This fungi's fruiting structure split open to release spores which sparkle like a disco ball. It looks like a whole galaxy in a single mushroom. This road in Rome, Italy, called the Appian Way, was built in 312 BC and is still in use today. The Mouth of Truth, Rome, Italy. The massive marble mask weighs about 1,300 kilograms and probably depicts the face of the sea titan god Oceanos. Stray for scale. The interior of the Royal Express luxury train in Japan. A $10 trillion note from Zimbabwe. 2 raindrops that look like 2 tiny citizen domes. Snack at carving pumpkins? Try using a variety of drill bits for this unique outcome. These people don't exist. A website creates them. The Ashfall fossil beds in Nebraska has thousands of stunningly preserved Miocene animals from a previous Yellowstone hotspot eruption. Alfred Nobel is infamous for inventing dynamite. In 1888, Alfred's brother died, and a French newspaper accidentally published his own obituary in which he was referred to as a merchant of death. After this, he gave away his fortune to establish what is now known as the Nobel Peace Prize. The species-rich Psittacosaurus includes some of the best preserved fossils found. Things like soft tissue anatomy and color can even be inferred. Tilda Swinton's great-grandmother, Elise Wilson, painted by John Singer Sargent, Art Institute of Chicago. Atacama, Chile is the land of geoglyphs. Among the nearly 5,000 glyphs discovered there in the past 50 years, none is greater than the Atacama giant, the largest prehistoric representation of a humanoid figure. It stretches 390 feet or 119 meters. Our muzzle brake vents propellant gases sideways to counter recoil and unwanted muzzle rise. A Belgian knuckle buster / revolver from 1870. These 19th century glasses with 17th century emeralds. Didn't know the 2018 Insta girl fashion had these origins. The Hell's Mouth fireplace designed by Josep Pasco for the Ramon Casas house in Barcelona 1902. This tiny crab trapped in amber that's around 100 million years old. Animal-assisted therapy, also known as pet therapy, is used in clinical environments, especially in psychological therapy and palliative care. Animals appear capable of reducing anxiety and stress, and to have physical effects such as lowering blood pressure, improving heart rate, and helping in personal activity intelligence. The Koenigsegg 1 has a power-to-weight ratio of 1:1, meaning that for every kilogram it weighs, it generates 1 horsepower. Stereoscopic SBS picture of not so ancient people using animal skins as inflatable rafts to go fishing. Cardiff Castle's Arab room was designed in the 1880s by Gothic revival architect William Burgess, who was inspired by Moorish design. It's reputed to have hand-applied gold leaf detailing on its ceiling worth around £8 million.